put out there the power of a plan, right? So we've been dealing with the powers, different powers. Last week we talked about power of no. Today I want to talk about power of a plan. And one of the things that I kind of got hip to not too long ago was we tend to use this word goal when we're talking about what we want to do in our future and stuff like that. But I want to throw out there, let's change that to expectation. Here's why. A goal, we typically set ourselves up to be okay if we don't hit it. Matter of fact, we're told to set goals that kind of are a little unrealistic because it's like, well, it's unrealistic because we're aiming for it, but if we don't hit it, it won't be the end of the day because we've actually hit what we need to hit. Right. Whereas an expectation is, you know what? There needs to be some consequences or there needs to be some skin in the game for why I don't hit what it is I'm supposed to hit, right? And so think about it. At work, we don't get fired because we didn't hit our goal. We get fired for not hitting our expectations, right? And so with that being said, one of the things that I kind of have adopted is the idea of thinking about how do you set expectations and then how do you measure it out? And that's a plan, right? And I don't typically do New Year's resolutions anymore because I think everybody does New Year's resolutions. January 1st is something magical that's supposed to happen. So my New Year tends to begin on my birthday. So April 17th every year is my New Year. And so this time, for this next couple of weeks, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at my plan from last year. What things did I hit? What expectations did I hit? Man, did I do better with this? Oh, no, I didn't. What's the reason why I didn't? You know, because sometimes there's just, things happen. We have to pivot. Life. Right? Absolutely. Life happens, right? And so I start asking those questions. Why not did I hit it? And then what I do also is I set new expectations for the next year. And that's when the year starts. And so as you're thinking about your expectations that you're setting for yourself, you got to ask yourself, what's your plan? All right? First thing you got to ask is, all right, what type of preparation, that's the P, preparation, you got to do your preparation, right? What materials are needed to get things achieved? Everybody's getting ready for their Easter dinners this weekend. You've already thought about what your menu is going to be. You already, if you haven't already, have put your list together. That's a part of preparation, right? Some of you, if you're going to smoke some turkey or smoke some ham, you're setting it up in the brine, right? It's not going to work in the smoker if it doesn't have the brine in it, and you have to put the brine on it for a certain amount of time in order for it to really be good. That's preparation, right? So there's some things that you have to do. What competencies do you need? Is there a certification that you need? What type of mindset do you have to start putting in place? What type of relationships do you need to foster, right?
Or let go.
Of. That's right. And I'm glad you say that because Christy, those are things that I do as well. As I'm going through my plan, I start looking at, man, I do a scrub of my Facebook. Like, matter of fact, there's some folk who were connected to me on Facebook this year, and they're not anymore. I used to do it with my phone before Facebook and all that integration. I actually used to do it with my phone because you know how through the year, you kind of gather different phone numbers and stuff like that. And I start asking the question, did this person make a positive contribution to my expectations for the year? Or did they make a negative contribution, or really, what is the point in having them in my, as y'all talked about protecting your peace, same idea. That's preparation, right? I'm starting to get people, I do what I call a purging, kind of pull them out. Then what I do is when you think about the L, the labor, right? So there's preparation, prepares me for the labor, right? What's the work that has to happen? You got to do the work. Here's the best thing about it. Everybody needs to understand, regardless of where you're at, you have to do the work, okay? And the actual act is considered, right? The work that we have to perform. What is it that needs to get done to carry this out? If I say I have to write a book, then what do I need to be able to do? Matter of fact, one of the things I was thinking about just the other day is that we're turning these heads up into a book, right? It'll be released hopefully, sometime in the summer, maybe in the fall, right? And it's a collection of these. And so my preparation was in the studio, I actually have a notebook that as I do them, I write them in there. I go ahead and I scan them in to my Dropbox, and I have them prepared that I'm going to actually send them off to somewhere where they can get a transcription. And now that's a part of the labor that has to go into it, because I know I can't do it, so I got to get somebody to do the transcription for me. Those are the things that you have to think about, right? All right, so P is what? Preparation. L is labor. Here's the A, accountability. What method of accountability do you want? And what method of accountability do you need? And those may be two different things. Listen, I may not want some of the accountability, but I kind of need it.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time about Biggest Loser. Which did you prefer, Bob or Jillian? Let me tell you something. That Jillian love, as much as people didn't like Jillian Michaels, I could deal with it because I'm hard-headed, right? I needed that person who would kind of crack my skull a couple times, right? I need a person who gives me that tough love. That works for me. But that may not work for you, but what is it that you need? And who do you want as your system of accountability, right? Who do you want to set up, right? All right, so P is what? Preparation. L is?
Labor.
A is?
Accountability.
Here's the next part, next steps, right? What happens as a result of you achieving your expectation? I like to hear the story a lot about when people talk about Oprah and, people say, man, they hit the mother load when they get on her favorite things. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you think about is that before Oprah would put these people on the favorite things, she would have a conversation with them or have someone have a conversation and say, are you ready for what's about to happen if once this happens? Because if you're not prepared for it, you're going to miss your opportunity. And so I want you to always be thinking about, all right, I achieved this expectation. What's next? So with that being said, I challenge you all to start developing your plan because there's power in it, the power of the plan.